Welcome back to Risque Business News. I'm your host, May.
And I'm Laura, and we're back for part 2 of Elon Musk.
Part 2.
This is where he gets rich. This is the part where he actually makes a chunk of money. We're going to talk about his background with PayPal.
Oh, fun.
There's a shit ton of drama. That's all he does is drama. It turns out.
He's good at it.
He's really good at it. He's good at getting the media, and this was another enjoyable one.
Where's the money? I don't understand how you make money.
Hold on.
From that, though.
2 stand-up comics in New York City.
Just learned a lot of this stuff. I'm going to ask all the stupid questions that you might be thinking at home, but are afraid to ask people.
Making it to where you feel like you're too stupid to be able to ever engage in it, they win.
Why the fuck are they doing this?
It's to make money. It's Risque Business News. All right. Well, how are we doing?
We're good. We're actually, Laura and I are going to Idaho, so please come out to the festival.
Yes.
If you guys are randomly in Idaho. I don't
If you
know
live
if
in
any
Boise.
fans out there.
Well, yeah, someone reached out and was like, oh, I will be there. And I was like, why though?
Yeah.
I'm fired up. I think it's going to be so fun. I've never been there before. It's supposed to be like 70 degrees. And
Yeah,
like,
it is.
It's going to be like nice and like nature. I love nature.
Excited. Yeah, and like, you know what? Like, I feel like everywhere I've been that I would never normally go is usually a delight because my expectations are really low, and then I show up and I'm like, this is fantastic.
We are snooty bitches. Is what we're trying to say.
I went to, I kept calling it Omaha when I was telling people where I was going. And I've actually been to Omaha, and it's lovely. And let me tell you something, the steaks are a cut above in Omaha.
They definitely are. They definitely are. I've spent a ton of time in Omaha because that's where Olympic Trials is.
Oh.
All, like, I don't know, forever.
Yeah.
Every time I've gone 3 times to Olympic Trials, never made it. Haha. That's its own story. And, yeah, so we
Laura
spent...
just burst into tears.
It's fine. But we spent like 2 weeks at a time in Omaha each time. So like you do everything there is to do in Omaha by the end of 2 weeks. It's cool.
Yeah.
But you run out of shit. There's like a candy store and a great zoo.
The zoo is pretty cool, but like, yeah, when you're asking somebody what to do in a city and they say a candy store, you got some issues.
Yeah, no, you leave.
Yeah, but yeah, Boise's coming up this weekend, and it was really funny because I was telling somebody, I was like, yeah, I'm going to Omaha this weekend, and I kept saying Omaha. And Ben Kirschenbaum, friend of the pod, he was like, mate, you bought tickets for Boise, right? Like,
where is your flight going? Okay?
Please don't go to Omaha.
Also, Omaha is closer.
Yeah, I wish I was going to Omaha. And I was like, that'd be so funny if I just bought my ticket for Omaha and I just get off the plane. I'm like, Laura?
Where's the comedy?
Where is everybody?
Being here is a comedy.
Oh my God, one time, so Rogue Island Comedy Festival, that's in Rhode Island, ran by a friend of the pod, Doug Key.
I gotta do that at some point because I'm a Rhode Islander, goddammit.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
But one time Mark was booked on that and he got the dates wrong by 2 months. And we did not know this. And so we rented a hotel in Newport, Rhode Island.
Amazing though.
And Mark was going around and being like, oh, like, you guys here for the comedy festival? You guys gonna be at the comedy festival? To like cashiers and stuff. And everybody was like, we have no idea what you're talking about. And then he
also, it's Newport, like they would know.
Right.
It's not that big.
It's small. And then he texted Doug and he was like, what the fuck? Nobody knows anything about this festival. And he was like, that's because it's literally 2 months from now. And Mark was like, oh, I'm booked that weekend. And he couldn't make it. And he was like, you can't be mad at me because I tried to go to your festival. Doug was like, I can be mad at you.
He can be mad at you, but you also do have like one, you did try. You're not wrong. Tried. You did try. Damn.
It was crazy. But I mean, then we had just like a lovely time in Newport. But
Newport is beautiful. Like in terms of like fucking up and making a mistake, that is probably, what time of year was it?
It was in like August that we went.
Perfect.
The comedy festival was in like October that year.
I mean, August is like, that's like prime time right there. That's beaches and stuff like that. I mean, you're in Massachusetts, you know the deal. You had a bachelorette party?
I did. I had a bachelorette party this last weekend in Palm Beach.
I love that those are back. We're like, we can get wasted together.
Yeah, I don't care. And it was kind of like the perfect bachelorette party because our big night out was Friday night, and then Saturday we just had like a nice like dinner at the house, and like we drank a shitload.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, because then I was flying home and I didn't want to kill myself. You know?
Absolutely noted for the one day.
Yeah, for the one. Dude,
well, it's like
tell me about it.
I'm booking our 4th of July I'm doing my Destination 30th, 4th of July. You'll hear a lot more as I get closer to this.
Yeah.
And we're doing the same kind of thing. Like, it's like day parties and stuff and like giving ourselves Saturday night to like recover.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I was like, oh my God, that's such a 30-year-old thing of me to do. Yeah. There's probably going to be a group who still goes and blacks out, but
I know,
whatever.
I'm missing it because I have a family vacation.
That's all right.
What a
That's
bummer.
all right.
Fuck you, Mom.
We'll do a 31st destination.
Fuck you, Mom, for putting together a lovely, beautiful family vacation for me to spend with my
mom was
nephew.
like, I'm German. 4th of July means nothing to me.
Right. Is your mom going?
No, Christ, no.
Oh. I didn't know if you were that kind of family.
No, we're not that kind of family at all. My mom, my entire like growing up, she's German, like German citizen.
Yeah.
And she would just shit on American
You're like
holidays.
German Nazi. No, I'm just kidding.
Like,
kidding.
no. Well,
She's like, I'm very sensitive about that.
This is tense times for the Germans. We've had to be very quiet on a lot of issues recently.
Why?
Yeah, I know, it's a whole other thing. But basically, I spent my entire childhood having her just shit on American holidays. So she was like, why would you 4th of July? Who cares? Or like prom. She did not give a shit about prom.
Prom over there. That's something I didn't know.
Yeah, I know. Well, no, I was aware because she was like, we're not getting you a dress. It's like, okay.
What? Did she really not get you a dress?
That's serious. I borrowed a dress.
Oh
which,
my God.
like, thank God I had like friends who were my size.
Wow.
But also they had like great, to be honest, probably better dress than I would have had anyway.
Yeah.
Like it was like, I borrowed this like gorgeous green dress and I was like, okay, I'm fine. I'm like not even that worried about it.
Girls are lucky now because they can do like Rent the Runway.
I
feel
know.
like I used to go to some like weird ass like
Ball prom dress store.
with, like a bunch of bedazzled shit and whatever the fuck. And I loved it and that's what I wanted. But like
looking back, you're like, how like they upcharge it by like 400% or something insane.
Yeah.
Like the prices on the like they're not nice. Like
no, they like fall apart and then you got to get it altered and you get in fights with your mom
and you have to go get those like you have to get a florist involved. It's a whole process. We should do the industry of prom at some point.
Yeah.
There's definitely some
or the
shit.
wedding industry.
Wedding industry as well.
Yeah.
I just went to, my friend is getting married in like a year and was doing dress fittings. Mm-hmm. And so we went to one of the stores in New York and I've never been into, it was my first like dress fitting.
Like a Kleinfeld?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And it was a trip.
Yeah.
Holy shit. I was like, don't touch anything. I was like sitting there feeling like filthy the whole time. Everything is crystal white.
Totally.
Oh my God.
That's crazy. You get like your bronzer on the dress.
Yeah, I'm just like wiping makeup. They're like, you need to leave.
I feel like those places need to tell. I would be like so paranoid about it. I'd be like, you can't come in with bronzer on your face.
Of course, but
You know?
no, I don't feel like. I mean, I wasn't trying anything on, but I wasn't told any rules.
It'd be so
I mean, I
weird
wasn't
if
trying
you-
to walk in with an iced coffee. They're like, bitch, what? Like, are you insane? Like, get out of here. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm supposed to be here.
Maybe when one of us finally in our fucking lifetimes get into engaged, we can talk about that.
Yeah, well, also, now I'm like doing the diet for July 4th and thinking about like having to do that for a wedding dress. I'm like, no, never mind. I'll just stay single. Like, I don't want to do it. And then also, my day was really rocked today because I went down that rabbit hole of that 60 Minutes thing on fucking aliens being a thing now.
Oh,
or whatever.
yeah.
Or
Yeah.
UFOs, but like, I assume, who's running the UFO? It's aliens. It's gotta
Right. I mean, well, I guess, it's probably
Or it
like.
could be China. Well, either way.
Yeah.
It's one or the other. One or the other.
Yeah, it could be, what's it called? Like a drone, like we do, but who's controlling it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
A
You
drone.
think alien? Do you think it's just like alien kids who are just like fucking around and they're like, I'm gonna run into Earth?
Yeah, I'm gonna go see what Earth's up
They're
to.
just on their phones.
We're just
like,
the Sims characters to them.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, so I was like, if I was a weed smoker, this would be my evening. Mm-hmm. It's just like watching these videos. If you haven't watched them, I have posted quite a bit about them already. We'll probably carry on.
They're a little disappointing because when I see that headline, I'm like, a UFO, and I'm thinking it's going to be like the little green man from the movies, from like, Martians invade or whatever.
God.
And then it's just like an object. They literally just mean like an object. They don't know what it is.
Unidentified flying object. Which I don't know. I'm a sucker for all that shit. I want it to be real so damn bad.
Oh,
I'm
me
like,
too.
I am just one more Obama video away from. He did an interview and I was like, Obama said put a foil hat on. I'm gonna do it. I'm like, right. I am there. I'm waiting.
Also,
Gonna
I feel like
bedazzle it. It's gonna look great.
oh yeah, there's the unification that we need as well. Like let's stop fighting between countries and let's all together as Earth fight Mars.
Absolutely. And Elon Musk is like, well, I have the perfect way to get there.
Right.
Finally.
Yeah, and everyone's like, sorry we criticized you. We love you now.
Never mind. Doge to the moon or to Mars. We don't know.
Yeah. Just save us.
Yeah, so stay tuned for updates there, where literally, apparently, the Pentagon is supposed to issue some sort of statement within the next 3 months or something.
Seriously?
Yeah, I mean...
I didn't watch the whole YouTube you sent me. I'll have to watch it.
Yeah,
We'll put the link to it.
Yeah, I watched that and then a couple other things. And I was like, back to Elon. Like, get back on it.
Laura's just on 4chan. Like,
oh
they're
my God.
saying.
I've had to... May told me, she was like, you need to stop sending me stuff before 9:30 in the morning because you're getting me anxiety.
So I'll wake up and like, you know, in like that weird time when...
5 text messages.
Truly. And like, I
was like, yeah, you're right. That's fair.
There's something like before 9 a.m. when I first wake up with like crippling anxiety. Do you?
No, I don't. So that's something you should maybe look into. Well, I
think
do.
a lot of people do.
Minus the fact that I immediately pivot into like alien videos or some
right,
shit.
Right.
So hard redirect of that energy.
Yeah. I will like I'll wake up and I'll sit in bed for 30 minutes like thinking about all the things I need to do, I'm failing at, or like things that are like, and I'll just like stew in my anxiety and then get up and do none of the things that I need to do.
Yeah. You're like, fuck it, never mind.
Yeah, it's a disaster. So anyway.
Well, yeah. So as a result, I have to. I'll just post it online or something.
Yeah.
I'll start tweeting more or something like that. Okay, let's talk about Elon because I actually have a decent amount of stuff to go through here. Again, I was like, oh, Elon, 1 or 2 parter, no problem. And I'm going in and I'm like, gee, this guy's up to quite a bit. So obviously, since we last went on, he hosted at SNL.
Yeah.
And that was something.
Yeah.
That was something. I guess, I don't know if America realized they haven't, listened to him much.
Well, I mean, he's not a good public speaker at all.
He has a stutter or whatever that is. I have no idea.
A weird cadence of speech.
Yeah, absolutely. And it has actually gotten quite a bit better because I was watching for the interviews, for the earlier research, some interviews from him back in the day, and holy shit, he's really bad there. But for this, he actually got quite a bit better, so I'll give him some credit there, but it's still jarring compared to all these comedians and people who are professionally entertainers and presenters, and they know how to speak. Elon is very, 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 very smart. I will give him that.
Yeah, it's kind of an ego boost because sometimes I sit around and I'm like, May, you're not smart enough, you're not doing this enough or whatever, just with my inner monologue with myself. And, but then I'm like...
I'm just gonna... Yeah, all right.
I'm like, Elon is a brilliant man and he can't even fucking talk, so you're beating him in that department.
Absolutely. Everyone has their strengths and weaknesses, but unfortunately, when you are hosting SNL, and that's your weakness, it becomes glaringly obvious.
Yeah.
And I will also say, they didn't do him any favors on those little skits or whatever, sketches.
They did not.
How about my favorite was when Grimes, was in one of the sketches and no one fucking knew.
Oh!
No one knew. She was in it.
No one really knows what she looks like outside of the Met Gala thing.
Exactly.
I don't even know what one of her songs are.
I wouldn't pick her out on the street.
Could you sing one of her songs?
I do know some of them. They're very EDM jazzy kind of stuff. I don't know if there's so many words to a lot of them.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? She's great. She's very, 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 very talented, but it's very... honestly makes a shit ton of sense that Elon would like her. Okay. I did think this was fun. So obviously the whole thing was Dogecoin, right? Oh, what's it going to do? It crashed during LOL.
Sure did. I was so pissed.
I was so annoyed with him. I was like, Elon, and then I was like, oh, well, I should have probably seen this coming. The good thing is it's rebounded quite a bit since. So we're fine.
What's that right now? Last time I checked, it was 49 cents or something.
Yeah, it's been hovering right around the 50-cent mark or so, which again, from 3 cents when we got in, not worried about it.
I'm happy.
Didn't go to $1. God damn it. He's still doing plenty though. I'm not going to go into the tweets because I'm sure you've all seen him, the Bitcoin stuff. And he's like, Tesla's going to accept Bitcoin. No, it's not. Bitcoin's bad for the environment. No, it's not. What is going on?
Right.
That's its own episode. We're not going to talk about that right now.
Yeah. The Bitcoin being bad for the environment, I understand the reasoning for it, but that blew my mind when I first heard it. I was like, wait, what?
Well, and listen, I get what he's saying, and I think part of the reason is Tesla's obviously green, it's not a fossil fuel consuming car. So it was kind of anti-ethical to its its original thesis.
Right.
But the irony there is like, what do you think the banking system is? Good for the environment? Are you fucking insane? Like,
true.
Like all the no.
Nothing's good for the environment.
No, absolutely. And when you go versus there, like there's no way that the US dollar causes less environmental impact. It's just harder to pinpoint. Exactly.
Right.
Like all the systems that go around it are absolutely as impactful as.
True.
Okay, I said I wasn't going to go down this tangent. Here we are. But again, we definitely need to do a crypto episode at some point. But what we're going to talk about today is going back in time a little bit and talk about, like, when we last left off, he had just sold Zip2. If you remember, he had just made a good amount of, like, $30 million or something dope.
Yeah.
And he had bought a car, bought his mom a house, all this shit, and he was, like, ready to move on.
Oh, his mom was on SNL, too.
Yeah, which was kind of, she looked like a damn alien.
Yeah, she did.
She's gorgeous, but like I was just like, this is really going into the
weirdest family.
If you guys were cast as like the family who was gonna like take the Earthlings to Mars, like you would look like this.
I'd be like, I believe you. Also, I will say, like in his monologue, I will say he did seem very likable. He was cute.
No, I know. We've gone back and forth. Like I am really not sure how I feel about him.
Me neither.
So far, I kind of like him.
I kind of like him too.
Yeah,
I think he's like a sweet. Well, I don't know actually. I was gonna say well-meaning, but I don't know that.
I know, and I'm hoping that as I go through this, I'll like learn enough to like be able to more firmly say I like him or not.
Yeah.
There's no denying he's really smart. Very, very, very smart. And I do think he is like not. There's not like evil intentions.
Yeah. Okay.
As far as I'm aware, I think he has an ego, which same. So,
right.
What am I gonna fucking judge for that?
Yeah.
But anyway, so, and I'm not sure I love some of the stuff he's done with women, but that'll actually be the next episode.
Well, it's fucking every man.
Yeah.
So Bill Gates is even fucking around.
Oh my god, I was obsessed with that story.
That's a fun one.
Well, that one's not done yet too, so we're gonna let that one simmer a little bit more before we dig in, because Melinda is coming for the kill.
Yeah, I know. I kind of
into her.
Yeah. No, I think it's cool that she's, blowing it all up.
It's hilarious. Okay, but let's back up a little bit. So where we left off, he had a bunch of money from Zip2, and he bought the McLaren. I want to go into this McLaren a little bit more because CNN had done this like insane interview of him where the McLaren was delivered, and he had this fiance at the time, Justine Wilson. CNN first of all called her Justice in the interview, so that's kind of fucked up. That's your one job. You're supposed to be reporting. Maybe don't get the only woman here's name wrong.
Yeah.
And basically this whole interview is the car is coming and they're talking about, like, they're interviewing Elon, who's stuttering through the interview about, this is like a really expensive car. There's only 62 of them. It was like a McLaren supercar. There's worth $1 million. Fucking
holy shit.
And especially then, like, it's a nice ass car. And
imagine paying that for a car. Oh my god.
I also was laughing because, like, he made $30 million. Like, that's like a pretty big percentage of your money, my dude.
Into one stupid ass car that you're probably not driving that much in reality.
And I think
What are you driving that thing to fucking Costco? I don't think so.
And the entire time Justine's standing there, she's just like, it's a little excessive. She's also so hot. Like, and that's the weird part too, is she's like hugging on him, and he's like, you can tell, like, he's like, CNN here is like, look tough, and he's like,
oh, he's so weird.
He's being a fucking weirdo, and he's like clearly so stoked about. He's like, when it came, he goes, yeah, this is cool. I like it. Like, he's trying to play it cool, but he's like nerding the fuck out. Obviously, he's really into cars. That becomes obvious later on. But he buys this thing, and then I read some other interviews where apparently he like, when you usually buy, not that anyone ever does this, he like got this from Ralph Lauren, like they were like bidding against each other.
Oh wow!
Ralph of Mr. Ralph.
Mr. Ralph Lauren.
Mr. Ralph Lauren.
Okay.
Know him? So he got this car, and normally if you get $1 million car, you don't use it. You know what I mean? It's not a fucking Prius. Like, you maybe take it out for, like, a special occasion.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. You put that shit in a garage, and, like, it's an asset at that point.
Yeah.
And not Elon. Homeboy is driving into the office. He's going through like California, like parallel parking, like getting it dinged and shit. It's covered in bird crap.
What?
And then there was this crazy story. I've been reading the book on him as well. So this is actually from one of the excerpts of the book. Musk emailed fellow McLaren owner Larry Ellison, the billionaire co-founder of the software maker Oracle, and asked if he wanted to go race cars. Another guy, Jim Clark, was caught wind of it and then was like, oh, I got to go buy a Ferrari so I could do that. So basically they were like all like jockeying around, like racing together.
Okay.
And then the next year, while driving down the Sandhill Road to meet with an investor, Musk turned to a friend in the car, so someone was driving with him, and said, watch this. He floored his car, did a lane change, spun out, and hit an embankment, which started the car spinning in midair like a frisbee. The windows and wheels were blown to smithereens and the body of the car damaged.
Oh no! This is McLaren or another car?
I believe so. I mean, yeah.
Oh,
and then he goes, Musk turns to his companion and said, the funny part is it wasn't insured.
Oh,
and they had to...
my God.
So he's like, the point is, he's in this like mindset, no humans.
Nothing matters.
Yeah. Very chaotic. I also think he's like 27 at this point.
Holy shit.
So remember like the chaos of most males at that age.
Yeah.
Combined with $1 million car and, you know, unbelievable attention from all the Silicon Valley like investors and stuff like that. He was like a wonder kid for them, like of the tech millionaires. So he's like in full chaos mode.
Yeah.
Full chaos mode. And it's kind of fun, but also just sounds like kind of like aggressive. He's clearly really bored. And he's like, okay, what am I going to do next? And he starts looking around. And if you remember from our last podcast on him, go listen to it if you haven't. He did a brief internship at the Bank of Nova Scotia.
Yeah.
So he did a brief financial internship when he was an undergrad. And during that time, he realized people in finance are full fucking idiots. His words, not exactly quote, but that's basically like the story around why he was like, wow, they're dumb, was that he had found some sort of like, this is a little bit deep finance, but I'll do my best, bond that he wanted them to buy. It was like a distressed bond for a third world country that was backed by the US government at like, 50 cents, and it was worth 25 cents. Mm-hmm. So his whole point was like, if they bought those bonds, they were guaranteed the profit off of them because it was US backed as part of this like third world initiative. And he tried to convince the CEO of this bank to do it, and they were like, no. And he was like, I don't know the details of that. It could have been that he was the idiot and was wrong, but Elon does not think so,
Yeah, well,
so,
of course
not. And instead, he left that and was just like, one of the quotes was, all the bankers did was copy what everyone else did. If everyone else ran off a bloody cliff, they'd run right off the cliff with them. If there was a giant pile of gold sitting in the middle of the room and nobody was picking it up, they wouldn't pick it up either. So he was just like, y'all are dumb.
Yeah.
Which, so that was like, fair enough. But then from there, he was like, what if I build a full service financial institution online?
Great.
This is 1999.
He's getting some big leaps.
Right, absolutely. He's like, well, they're stupid, so I'm just going to make a bank online. Yeah, I did an internship at a bank. Why shouldn't I? That's male confidence right there.
Totally.
Like, a couple months experience. Yeah, I got it. I'll revolutionize it.
I love that when someone gets out of college and they're like, they've been working at the company for like literally 6 months.
Yeah.
Like, why am I not promoted to VP yet? And I'm like, oh my God.
You don't know anything.
Right.
You don't know anything.
You're worthless.
Yeah. You're happy.
So am I.
Why are we giving you a salary even?
I mean, I always have experience and I'm worthless.
I know the people they're talking about.
Right.
The minimum, Jesus. What's also really funny about this is 1999.
Yeah.
Do you remember Y2K?
I do. And I wish it had happened because I fucking hate social media.
Y2K, like, were you... we were like at an interesting age
yeah, we were
at that
10.
point. Yeah.
Well, I was 10.
I was something like that.
Yeah, I was like almost 10 because it was 2000, yeah.
I remember sitting with my parents in the living room.
Me too.
And like watching the TV, and they were like, my dad was like, oh, it'll be fine, but we were all like watching.
Yeah, I was watching.
I'm not worried about it, but like we're keeping an eye.
And I remember being confused by it, so I was like, "Oh, the whole world's gonna end." Like that's like how I felt. It was in like a doomsday cult with my family for 2 minutes.
Yeah, no, everyone's family for like the 5 minutes before Y2K was just like, are we gonna do more money? Yeah. We have like a couple extra cans of Progresso.
Yeah, right.
We're like,
your parents take out all their money out of their bank accounts. That's so funny.
That was like absolutely insane that was what we were worried about at that point.
I know.
Nothing happened. Instead, it was basically fine. Do you remember what it was all about?
That the numbers wouldn't change to 2000s or something like that?
There was like, when they had initially, obviously like computers and shit were pretty new still.
Yeah.
So when they had initially programmed the dates, they hadn't put 4 years, they had put 2.
Oh.
So it was like 99 and they didn't know what would happen when it would go to 00, like 00.
Oh, yeah.
And nothing happened.
Okay.
I remember just being like, all right, time for bed. I had the Y2K Furby.
Yeah. But, I mean, somebody had to, like, fix that, or they were just like, everyone was just holding their breath?
They did some, like, fixes or patches ahead for some of the things, but for a lot of them, they were just like, we don't fucking know.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was. So anyway, point being, it wasn't exactly, like, a friendly environment to start an online bank.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Like, everyone was like, what about... the world's gonna end on midnight.
I'm gonna take all my money out and put it under my mattress and then get robbed.
Let alone have remember at that point banks didn't have like online places you could go and even check your balance. You went in.
Oh my god! How did people do anything?
It's really hard to like go back in time and remember what it was like then. Like you went to the teller and were like, hey, here's a check, put it in, or if I wanted to send you money, I'd have to like do a whole fucking, like, money order or whatever.
Yeah. Don't you remember, like, I feel like I spent so much time at the fucking bank.
Well, now looking back, reading this, I was like, oh, well, no shit we did. Like, can you imagine every time you're trying to Venmo someone, you have to go to the bank?
It's crazy.
Yeah. No.
And you have to carry cash on you all the time. No wonder like petty crimes are up so high. Because,
absolutely.
Like, right now it's like, what, are you gonna fucking take my pants off me? Like,
enjoy my credit card. I'm gonna cancel. Honestly, like, they'll know because I've never shopped at whatever.
Right.
Wherever
take
you're
my
going.
iPhone so the police can track exactly where you're going.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, yeah.
Good luck without my passcode.
Idiots.
We're gonna get robbed.
Yeah. This is the energy that brings robbers to us.
Absolutely. So, meanwhile, Elon is like, okay, and I get his point. Like, if you know about the internet and you look and you're like, well, what if we had banks online? Yeah. I get wanting that, but like to think that you can pull that off is pretty ballsy. So,
it really is.
But fair enough. So he sold Zip2 in February 1999, and by March 1999, he started X.com.
Okay. SpaceX.
No, it's different actually.
Okay.
But I think that it is partially inspired by.
Yeah.
First of all, 1 month between, so maybe take like a vacation next time. Like, holy shit, my dude. And I don't know, like this is why I could never be an entrepreneur because I'm like I would like to take a break. I'm gonna go to I'm gonna go to Miami. Like
why would I hang out? Why would I ever bust my ass?
So he put $12 million of his personal wealth in it. And
whoa,
that is a lot of money. There are some tax incentives for, especially in California, for like if you've made money off of investments to reinvest it right away.
Okay,
but 12 million is still like unprecedented for considering
crazy.
The amount of money he had made. Remember, at this point he made like what 30 million or something. 12 to that, 1 to this car. Fuck, dude. I mean,
I'm sure he bought some absurd house too. He was probably like broke after this.
He was certainly taking a risk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially considering he was going into an industry he had like no experience in. Mm-hmm. And finance is regulatory hell. Like it's like different than like previously he had started that company on listing local businesses online. Yeah. The risk there, pretty low. Worst case scenario, Joe's Pizza isn't up for a bit. Right. But in this case, it's like if the bank fails, like what is that Christmas movie or whatever? Like the It's a Wonderful Life or like when the banks fail.
Oh yeah, It's a Wonderful Life.
Yes.
The bank and loans.
Oh my god, it always freaked me out.
In Pottersville.
I was watching that movie and I was like, I don't like this movie at all.
Yeah,
it's really fucking scaring me out.
What's gonna happen to this family?
Oh my god. I get really no.
I love that movie.
So he was like, okay, we have to get through all these regulations because there's a shit ton of them because the government's like, you can't just start a bank. Like, no, you need to do a lot of things.
Wait, I have to say this one story now that I'm thinking about it.
I'm already excited.
One time, Mark and I were on mushrooms.
Of course.
And it was like Christmas time, and we saw It's a Wonderful Life on the marquee, and we were like, we should go watch that movie.
Oh,
And then so we go in to watch the movie, and we're sitting down, and like we're watching this old fucking ass movie.
Yeah.
And I was like, and we were like laughing so much because like we were like 10 minutes into the movie, and he just turns to me and goes, what the fuck are we doing? I was like, we've seen this movie 1,000 times. And so we started like giggling to each other. We're like laughing uncontrollably. Like, why would we spend $20 to go watch this movie that we've seen like 80 times while we're tripping? And then somebody got up in front of us, turns around and goes, hey, shut the fuck up. And like this crazy stance and like yelled at us. And then me and
New York City.
And we were so like afraid and freaked out because we were on shrooms. Then we went out into we got out into the street and we were like, oh my God, like that guy was so pissed. And then like later on when we were sober, we were like breaking it down. We were like, imagine like going to see It's a Wonderful Life, which everybody has seen 38 million times. Yeah. And then there's two people clearly high, like giggling behind you and standing up and telling them to shut the fuck up. And it's in like the most wholesome movie ever. Oh my God. Anyway, it was just fucking
live
hilarious.
action, whatever, Scrooge or whatever.
Yeah.
You actually had the ghost of Christmas Past or something come in and just yell at you. This is a classic! God damn it!
He was so fucking pissed. Another time, actually, I got screamed at by a Hasidic Jew on Coney Island. She screamed at me. It was crazy. And then her son screamed at me.
What did you do?
I bent over in a dress, and I think my butt was out, and they didn't like that.
You're welcome.
Yeah, they didn't like that. Sorry. Anyway.
And his son was like, do it again!
Yeah, but there's something about me being on shrooms where I get yelled at a lot. It's horrible. It's not a good...
Yeah, that's actually like the worst energy to invite. It is 100% the worst.
It's so bad. Okay, I'm so sorry to go on that tangent. We're back to Elon Musk.
No. Okay, so obviously Elon, he's not a full idiot. So he's like, I can't just like single-handedly do this bank like solo. I'm gonna need some folks who know finance. So we brought in Christopher Payne and Harris Fricker, who was a Rhodes Scholar, Canadian finance folks that he had met back in his old days. And he convinces them to join. He also has like a bunch of engineers who are, I'm sure, a delight. And they were like, let's start doing this. And while they were going through, they were like, this is really fucking hard.
Yeah, no kidding.
Wow, this is harder than we thought it was going to be. But also at the same time, Elon is still getting a shit ton of press coverage for like selling Zip2 for a lot of money. Uh-huh. So they're like sucking his dick. And meanwhile, his team is like, Jesus Christ, dude. Like, this is really hard. And he is like pumping up the, they call it X.com. He's pumping it up and he's like, oh my God, we are going to revolutionize the finance industry. And they're like, we don't have any product. Yeah. We only have an idea. We don't have a product. Maybe shut the fuck up for a second. Stop. I get it, but like their whole thing is that Fricker especially was really mad about it. And he said Elon was overhyping products and playing the public.
Yeah,
which
well, that's what he does.
I know. It's kind of like a really beautiful foreshadowing, if I may. Yeah. Yes, exactly. So after 5 months, Fricker was like, fuck this. I'm either make me CEO so I can run this or I'm leaving. And Elon,
really?
Yeah, okay. And Elon was like, bye.
Oh, wow.
And he left. Fricker left and he brought a bunch of people with him. And then all of a sudden Elon was like, oh my God, that was not a good idea. And had to go and hire a bunch more people. Also, like at this point, they had some funding, but they were running out of that 12 million real quick. Like that goes fast. So they had to go to, they went to Sequoia to pitch. Sequoia is like one of those really big investment groups. Yeah. And Mike Moritz, who's a badass actually, he's done a really he's very, very good at this. Basically on reputation alone. They looked at, he was like, here's your product. And they were like, you don't have a product. You have nothing. Right. But we know you're Elon and you've done well in the past. So here's more money. Good luck.
Okay.
So they hired a ton and they were, week by week, more engineers arrived and the vision became more real. They were able to secure a banking license and then they got a mutual fund license and then they formed a partnership with Barclays. Oh. Which is a big deal. Yeah. So by November of that year, X.com's software team had legitimately created one of the world's first online banks, complete with FDIC insurance to back the bank accounts and 3 mutual funds for investors to choose. So Musk gave all the engineers $100,000 to go and test it. They launched on Thanksgiving in 1999, which is kind of a dick move, but it's like, fuck your families. You're not going to see them. They went live, and they basically, the legend is that Elon stayed there for 48 hours straight, making sure things worked.
Okay.
He had to have done drugs. Like,
of course.
Like, there's no way.
Yeah.
So they launched, and they had a product that worked, like, by some damn miracle. That's actually pretty remarkable that they pulled that off.
Yeah, that's insane.
Obviously, this is also going into... This is literally Thanksgiving of 1999. They're like, Y2K.
Wow.
Don't fuck it up.
That's risky.
And now they had to convince people, like, to use it. You know, it's one thing to have a product. It's another thing for people to actually use it. So this is where things start to get weird. They did a $20 sign-up bonus and $10 referrals for new users. As you can imagine, that's like, goes quick.
Yeah.
And you had to, like, they really were, like, pushing to get people on board, burning through money in order to do that, and they had competition. But even still, they were able to get 200,000 sign-ups in the first few months. Cool.
That's really good.
It's really good.
Yeah.
It also, like, did the impact of, like, being able to transfer money faster, so people were seeing that it was a good product and doing what they said.
I'd be curious, I don't know if you know the answer to this, but those 2,000 signups, are they all US based? 200,000, sorry.
I think so. Well, actually, Barclays is a European bank.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Okay.
But I would imagine largely US. Let's just call it probably at least westernized countries. I doubt they had that significant of expansion out the gate.
Yeah.
But maybe. Anyway, in the meantime, competition comes into play. And this competition, I did not know all of this background here on him and how deeply he's linked with some of these, like, other very, very interesting people.
Oh.
But there's this group called Confinity. It was another startup in a similar space. Confinity is confidence plus infinity, which is...
Oh my God.
It's
infinite confidence.
Yeah, we got it.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, exactly. Silicon Valley is extremely cheesy.
They really are.
They are. Little, cheese sticks. Like,
so cheesy.
Yeah, like, we got it. Confinity.
String cheese dicks.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
Funny.
So it was started by Peter Thiel. Remember him?
I do remember him. He's the man who was funding Hulk Hogan's trial against Gawker. That's so funny.
He was outed.
He was outed, yeah.
Yes. He's kind of like, I mean, we should probably do a deeper dive on him at some point. Yeah, he's got quite a bit of drama around him. However, he was the guy who originally started, he was like a hedge fund dude who started this with Max Levchin, who's like an engineering wonder kid. They started Confinity, and the whole concept of that was that it was exchanging money. Originally, PayPal was one of their products for Confinity, which was going to be exchanging money using the infrared scanners on Palm Pilots. Do you remember Palm?
I do remember them, and I was always really jealous of people that had one.
They looked so important.
And they did have that little pen that came with them.
Yeah. And you're just like...
I always wanted one, and I asked my parents one. They were like, "Why would you?
Why?
Here's your Nokia. Why would I ever buy you a businessman's BlackBerry and then have to pay for that every month? That's so dumb."
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So basically, there was this like way that you could. There was encryption standards on this mobile device on the Palm Pilots that would only work if there were applications that could use those standards. But then by using those, they'd be able to transfer money. Like if I took my phone and like tapped yours, I could transfer money like virtually.
Oh, I bet you like people wouldn't like that because they're like, what if I bump into you at the bar?
Yeah, you needed to use the application, so there were some levels around it. It was technically possible. And Max Levchin, who was, this guy is really interesting, University of Illinois graduate with a knack for coding and a passion for entrepreneurship. He was from the Soviet Union, while he was a boy, his parents fled on foot from the Chernobyl nuclear disaster site.
Oh, shit!
Max, my dude.
Wow.
Like, X-Man status right there. Like,
damn.
No wonder you're so smart. That shit.
That's so crazy.
Hyped up your brain when you were growing. But he was super, super smart. And so he was, like, originally tasked on developing the encryption so that they could, use this application that would allow them to transfer using the PayPal application on the Palm Pilot. Blah, 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 blah. Point is, you need a Palm Pilot in order to do that. He had originally met Peter Thiel when Peter came to do a talk at Stanford and no one showed but him.
Wait, seriously?
I'm dead serious. This was like way back in the day.
Oh, he wasn't like a big deal yet.
Well, he kind of wasn't. Enough that he was doing a talk, but you know, who knows?
And also, Stanford University, you'd think that people would be like wicked fucking goody two shoes, so they want to.
Oh, exactly.
They want to go. They want to learn.
Well, I'm sure they are now after this story because they hit it off, I guess, and had lunch or breakfast or something the next day.
Wow.
And that's when Levchin told Thiel his idea about this company, Confinity, and Thiel was like, yeah, let's fucking do it. Here's money. And
damn.
The rest is history.
Wow.
So they rented office space, ironically, from X.com. What? So like they were right, they were like enemies close kind of deal. Because this is kind of, at this point it's different technologies, but it's like absolutely in the same realm of finance.
Yeah.
And they had their product called PayPal, which was focused obviously on transferring the money with the Palm Pilot. So soon enough, they realized that that was a stupid fucking idea because not nearly enough people had Palm Pilots to be able to do it. Like they did this test where they went to a restaurant in Silicon Valley, which is where like if you're gonna have a Palm Pilot, it's there.
Yeah.
And not even everyone at the table had it.
Yeah.
So that they wouldn't like, you know, if you wanted to Venmo everyone, not everyone had it, that they could do it, a Palm Pilot.
And I feel like at the time, public trust wasn't there yet to be able to move money like that. You know, like it took up until recently for people
that
to even,
honestly
like,
sounds pretty, like even now, like I guess now you could just do it with like the Venmos or whatever.
Yeah, but like I even hear like, you know, hippie kind of people that will be like, oh, I don't have a Venmo, I don't trust that. I'm like, okay, well how come millions of people every day are using Venmo and it's been completely fine?
My dad is very paranoid about that stuff, so he has this he's actually like so smart with a bunch of these things. Eventually, I'll probably get owned to be like, but he has a separate bank account linked to his Venmo so that if it ever got impacted, it wouldn't, like for me, I'm just like, I'm fucked.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't really have that much money to begin with. Go ahead and steal my identity. I fucking dare you. They'd be
Pay
like,
off loans.
Right? They'd be like, all this debt. What the hell?
Yeah, I hope that they don't get breached. I should probably do that. I should probably copy my dad. But point being, so they were like, well, this is not going to scale. This does not make sense right now. Our total addressable market, a business term, TAM, is too small. So what were they going to do? They were going to transfer to the idea of transferring money via email, which is basically what X.com was already doing, like with their online bank.
Yeah.
And because everyone at that point was, you know, pretty used to using the email, this was definitely a step forward, but it was like made more sense than like Palm Pilot scan and shit.
Yeah.
So
Also,
like,
thank God they didn't invest in that technology because then the iPhone came out and it was like, bye-bye.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think they realized, they were like, this is dumb.
Yeah.
Never mind. So they developed this technology of being able to transfer it via email and then use, that's called PayPal, as we know.
Yeah.
And then they have to shift to marketing. Now, their marketing strategy was really interesting. As we know, the X.com group was doing their referral bonus fees and blah, 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 and like doing it that way, and they were growing pretty well there. This team actually did a really incredible job with the marketing. They utilized eBay. So eBay was launching at that point too, if you remember, like online auctions, obviously, like which was a novel concept at that point. Yeah. And people were like wet for it. They were really into eBay. They loved the idea. So
huge erections.
Yeah, just rock hard.
Throbbing.
Selling my old shit online. What? I love selling shit.
Oh my God.
So they decided what they were going to do is like, if you're already selling something online, the concept, like initially it would take over a week or something for the money orders to transfer and for you to ship. And it was causing some significant delays. But what they were like is what we can do is have a charity bot go through and like automatically email people who have items listed and say, hey, I'd like to make a bid for charity. I don't know why charity had to be involved, but they like thought people would like it more if it was charity or something.
Yeah, I think people are like more likely to use it if it's for something that they perceive as good. And not just like, oh, they're trying to like get me to buy more shit.
Well, and the whole concept was that they were like, we want to make a bid on this for charity. However, we need to use PayPal. in order to complete the transaction. If you do that, they also had like a referral fee, like there was like $10 or something you'd get for signing up.
Okay.
So it like kind of made it like a win-win.
Yeah.
And also it was like,
I do this.
yeah, absolutely. And also the people who were selling were like, oh shit, like I want to be able to accept money online. Like,
yeah,
you know, this seems like it's taking off. They had a relationship already at this point with like the Red Cross or something. So they had a couple legitimate like, you know, logo slides to throw up on the email or whatever.
How was like at the time before PayPal? Oh, just like putting in your credit card information on eBay. That's how it was going? Like how?
No, I think you had to do like bank orders or something. Or maybe credit card. I'm not exactly sure, but it was like, it was a long ass process.
Damn.
Point being, like this definitely was like an advantage.
Yeah, I love when places have PayPal now and you can just say PayPal. You don't have to go and get up and get your purse and put in your credit card number, which is a fucking disaster.
I did just have where I bought something on Etsy and then the shop closed. Like, due to COVID, like shut down.
Bummer.
Very sad. However, at the same time, I'd paid like $200 for whatever I was buying.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so question mark.
Hello.
And they were like, we are closed. I don't know what to tell you. We have our own problems. And I was like, that's fair, but I still didn't get what I bought. And
that's not really that fair.
So then
I
had to go on PayPal and like go through this whole process or whatever. And like, I haven't really used anything but that interface where you pay.
Yeah.
I haven't like explored their site in a long time.
Right.
Not the best. Gotta be honest.
Yeah, I mean PayPal definitely feels like a janky Venmo.
It's a little yes, it is that, and there's reasons for that, which we'll get into. The point is, janky Venmo is exactly what it was. I did get the money back though.
Oh,
thankfully.
good. Okay,
it just took like 3 weeks. I was like, thank God I'm not like fucking fiending for it right now. Are you kidding?
Totally.
I was annoyed, especially for the group that was supposed to do like fast payments. What the hell? So they used this bot and it was actually like really, really successful. They did a couple of other tactics in order to grow, but they were really good at this and they were scaling quickly. They were competing really directly with X.com, so they were both basically spending a shit ton of money in order to acquire new customers. They knew like whoever got more customers first would win. And then also they were spending millions of dollars battling hackers who were defrauding them left and right. I love it. No. This is why I'm never gonna, like, my job security is, you know,
it's
company by company may be a struggle potentially, but like industry wise, Jesus Christ, folks are defrauding folks all the time.
It's necessary.
It is not going away.
No, it's not.
No. We just had that whole pipeline issue, the Colonial thing, where did you see that?
Right.
That was ransomware. I was like, great, there's more job security for me.
That's great.
Yeah, it was insane. So because of the hackers, some of like the governments of various states were stepping in and fining PayPal for violations. Then some of them banned PayPal for a little while, and it was like a kind of a hot mess, like with regulations and stuff like that. So to get ahead of all the fraud that was occurring, PayPal actually, due to Lev Chin, who kind of came up with this, and again, he's a genius, spearheaded the use of I think I'm saying this right, CAPTCHA.
Oh, those fucking things. Where it's like, I hate those! And it's always like, oh, I'm like, is that an M or a W? What is going on? Like, and you can't tell
you feel high. You're like, am I drunk? Like, what's going on? You're like squiggly letters, and you have to like understand what it says.
Yeah, it's like, then it's like, I'm like, I might be a robot because I can never get this right.
The AI is definitely smarter than me. Are you kidding?
Right. Or it would be like, oh, do the ones with like the crosswalk in it, and one's like barely on the crosswalk. I'm like, it drives me crazy. Anyway, fuck this guy. He made these goddamn captchas.
He was the one, he didn't invent the technology, but by putting it into PayPal, it's like what made it used. Right. That like really, really spearheaded the use of this technology broadly. Which is kind of fucking crazy because it's everywhere now. How have we not gotten past that? Anyway, so they are fighting each other really intensely. And in March 2000, Jesus Christ, they decided, March 2000,
I was
2020.
like, damn, we're skipping.
Damn, that was 20 years. What happened?
Yeah. What happened to those 20 years? Okay.
X.com and Confinity, they merged. They decided to stop fighting each other and join forces.
But wait a second, wouldn't that be a monopoly?
Oh, no. This is in startup world where they were still like...
Anything goes.
Yeah, and also it's like Monopoly, I think, only really counts when it is a used product. Whereas in this case, there were 200,000 users or whatever, let's call it 1 million users. It's a lot, but it's still a baby.
Okay.
You know? It's like when we should talk about monopolies at some point too.
Yeah.
Fuck my life. They're insane.
Yeah.
And absolutely what we are in right now, but whatever. Okay. Calm down. Stop getting mad about Amazon. Okay. So they merged, and now it's Elon comes in as CEO again because he had put most of his own personal wealth. He had the majority of the shares in this new merged group. And, Levchin was one of the engineers. Peter Thiel was in there as well. I don't remember exactly what role. But point being that they had to merge these two different groups. And Elon wanted this new company to be called X.com, obviously.
Yeah.
They raised $100 million from bankers, including Deutsche Bank and Goldman Sachs. And they were saying that it had over 1 million customers. So they're like, fuck yeah.
Okay.
We were fighting this group and now we're together. This is great. We have 1 million customers. We just raised 100 million. Like, we are crushing. We are in a good spot. Things are going to go well. But they are not, obviously, because men hate each other. Men love to fight.
Women love each other all the time. We've never fought.
But men, no, I just wanted more generalizations about men. They love to battle with one another. At least tech billionaires do. Our tech millionaires, they really do enjoy a good rivalry.
When it's over money, they will scrap.
Yeah. So Elon is the CEO and he's trying to merge the two groups, and immediately there's problems, just like right out the gate. First of all, he wants it to be called X.com, and they were like, no, we hate it. And he was like, but I like it. And they were like, but we like PayPal. That's what the product's called. And he was like, I don't care. So they fought over that. And then, even more interestingly, they fought over the coding language that was being used underneath it all. So this goes back to, and the nerds out there are going to be like, kill yourself when they hear you try to describe this. Like Linux versus Microsoft C++. Or,
C++.
The programming language that you're using to like code like the front end of like the different websites that they were using. And this is like religious for coders.
It really is.
They really fucking care. They really care.
Yeah.
The whole concept is basically like Linux is open source, if you're not familiar, and it's like the modern software of the people, whatever. Like, it's supposed to be, because it's open source, everyone can contribute to it. It's more secure because like people like love going and checking for things. Rather than Microsoft will provide a lot of powerful tools, but it's also like black box, basically.
Right.
Like, unless you work for Microsoft, you're not seeing the back end.
And everything that you use has to be Microsoft around your system.
Exactly. Now remember, like 96% of users or whatever use Microsoft, like or like use like the Windows platform. It's definitely the most popular thing in business. So Elon was like, we should use that. Like, there's all these tools that'll be provided. Like, it's the system.
Easier.
It's easier. It's more productive. Whereas the rest of the group that was under Levchin were like, no, we literally are going to use the coding language or coding program. Don't kill me. I don't know. Called Max System, which was named after him, named after Max Levchin.
Oh.
So no shit. He's gonna be like, what is this? You fucking insane.
I feel like this whole thing, I was waiting for Elon to be the biggest ego, and I don't know if that's...
there's plenty of them.
Yeah.
There's plenty of them. There's ego. That's what I'm saying is like, of course they're going to fight. Immediately.
They're crazy.
All of them are. So Levchin is like, we hate that. And Elon's like, I'm CEO, so suck my dick. And they are fighting about it. And anyway, they're growing really quickly. And the website was really, really, really struggling to keep up. Thiel got so mad about all this that he resigned after 2 months, and Levchin almost left as well because he was so mad about this whole thing.
Oh my god!
So they were like big mad. Like, they were not like, they were fucking pissed at one another. And their CFO was also unhappy with this whole thing and thought Elon was hiding or at least misrepresenting the company's status to their investors, Sequoia, because like there was a bunch of like issues with the UI, and obviously there was a lot of unrest within the employees.
Yeah.
And so shit was really, really tense. A growing number of other people at the company questioned Musk's decisions in the face of all the crises, which was followed by one of the nastiest coups in Silicon Valley's long illustrious history. Love lots of nasty coups. So basically, a small group of the X.com employees gathered one night at Fannie and Alexander's, which is, I guess, a bar that's no longer there in Palo Alto. That would be sick if it was still there, though.
That'd be
I would love to go there. And brainstormed about how to push out Musk.
No.
They decided to sell the board on the idea of bringing back Thiel, who had just resigned, as CEO. So instead of going and asking Musk, like, or talking to him about it, they decided to do this behind his back.
Oh.
I know. So going back, remember Justine?
Yes.
Fiance, when the beginning of this whole X.com spiel, they get married. He's working. He's literally, 48 hours in the office. He's like, I'm not going to honeymoon. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
And she's like, love to do a honeymoon at some point. Fair.
Yeah. We got married.
Exactly. So they were like, okay, fine. What we'll do is combine it with a fundraising trip. We'll go to the Sydney Olympics. And after you go and have a couple meetings in Australia.
Yeah.
Which is far away, which is the important part. So what they do is they literally board the plane to go to Australia, which is whatever, like a 15-hour, probably more flight. And while the second they leave, the X.com employees go and bring this letter of their complaints to the board.
Oh my God.
Fucking savage. Yes. So by the time Elon lands, he was removed as CEO and replaced by Teal. Fuck my life.
And then he's just in Australia.
How mad is Justine right now, by the way?
So mad. Did he get on a flight and go right back?
Oh, of course. And I mean, normally it'd be stay at the honeymoon. In this case, I'm like, I get it. You gotta go. Yeah. You gotta go back. You gotta go back. So obviously that was absolutely chaotic. He goes back and ultimately he actually ends up being really cool about the situation.
Interesting.
That was
Does he know something or no?
Well, the biggest thing is he has a shit ton of the stock.
Oh,
so his goal here is he needs this company to be successful.
Right.
Whether he runs it or not, and that's actually, he wrote this whole appendix in the book where he was like, let me have my say. And he goes, ultimately, I didn't disagree with the board's decision in the PayPal case in the sense that with the information that the board had, I might have made the same decision, which is actually remarkably mature.
Yeah.
I would have been like, fuck them, I'm going to kill their families or something.
Right.
I would have been fucking furious.
Yeah.
But he was like, no, I kind of get it. He was really worried about having certain things that he thought PayPal needed to have done happen. And he went and talked to Max and Peter and they were like, yeah, it's going to happen. So then he was like, okay, fine. And he went and took a back seat. And was actually a mensch about it.
Okay. Do we have any idea of how much of the stock he owned?
Well, I don't know exactly what the percentages came out to, but point being, this is all, remember how there was the .com burst in the 2000s? This is right before all then.
Right.
So he had initially put in a ton of his Zip2 money in there, so he had a large amount of the shares. And then internet companies are kind of struggling a little bit or whatever. And there comes a situation where eBay, they were also really worried that eBay was going to eventually kick them out or try to build their own product. And considering a ton of their business was via eBay, they were like, this is a very
big deal.
It's not that eBay had never been aggressive towards them, but they were like, if they ever do, we're fucked. So eBay eventually offered to buy them for $1.5 billion.
Okay.
And they took the deal, and because he had put in the lion's share of the money, he made $250 million.
Holy shit. Wow.
Yeah. Good for him.
That's crazy. That's awesome.
So then after that, it's 180 or something after taxes. And that is what enables him to do the next chapter.
Do Elon shit.
Which we know some of.
That's crazy. Imagine just having that much money in your bank account.
Oh my God.
Where does it go? Do you need you obviously need a separate bank. Where does it go?
I don't know. The rich and the famous, and they all do Swiss bank accounts, right? That's the whole thing. That and then the Caymans.
Is that allowed still?
I mean, yeah. No.
Yeah,
They're gonna do it.
Wow.
That's the biggest thing. I read this book on. I've been really getting into
finance
some
stuff.
fucking weird rabbit holes.
Yeah.
And about laundering money and stuff like that. And once you're rich enough, you can do anything. That's why, what were the Panama Papers were so important, because it was kind of the details of a lot of the bank accounts. Of exactly people who were doing shady shit to avoid taxes and stuff.
Right.
Remember Hermione, Emma Watson was in there?
She did?
We should do an episode on the Panama Papers too.
That's interesting.
I know.
Huh.
I know. So anyway, listen, I could keep going, but I figured a good place to stop, because that's kind of the end of his PayPal story.
Yeah.
But Homeboy got owned, but then also made a shit ton of money. So who's the winner? I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like that, and I don't feel like Elon has any feelings to get hurt.
Not anymore, but to be fair, at this point, like, homeboy's been through it all.
True.
Crashed his car.
Yeah.
Justine is like, where's my honeymoon? We'll actually talk about the romance in the next episode.
Yeah, the romance will be fun because he's
he's
how many
got,
wives be?
oh my god, he's a playboy, which is horrifying.
Which is fucking hilarious. Oh my god.
So we'll talk about that in the next episode, but we'll probably do something else in between to cleanse the palate. Maybe in Idaho.
Yeah, maybe in Idaho.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll do something silly. I'll try to think of something silly.
Yeah, something light and fun.
Yeah,
You know.
it'll be good times.
Yep. But if you enjoyed this, please, the drill, like and subscribe. We've been growing. It's just been really exciting because you guys have been telling your friends. So
yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much
Tell more
for
of them.
having, enjoying it. Send us a message if you're liking it. We'd love to hear. Tell your friends because that's how more people, get to
Know
listen
about
and
us.
learn about stupid shit like we do.
And we did not talk about our Nancy versus your dad stocks.
Oh, yes.
I'm up.
You're up. I'm
up.
definitely down because fucking Nancy. God damn it.
Nance.
All right. Well, I need to learn. One of the things I'm trying to learn is the MACD trading strategy. So if anyone has any good tips there, let me know because I watched
If you
like
want to
4
help her inside trade, let her know.
Yeah, please. It is an analytics use thing. I don't know what it is actually. I have
It's
no
insider
idea.
trade, and I'm just kidding.
That is what Pelosi's doing.
That'd be so funny if you got fucked. If you got like.
Yeah, I know. That's like a plot
and-
twist.
Yeah, and then there's just like us on the podcast. I'm like, she's insider trading. Look at her.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Hopefully I make enough money that matters. I don't think they care if you're insider trading off like $20.
That's true.
They're like, you're good. You're good.
Oh my
Okay.
Last thing I'll say before we close up this puppy with a, bow is, what was I gonna say? I forgot to do my fucking taxes. So am I going to jail? When do I
Just file an extension. I filed an
Okay.
extension.
How do I do that?
Okay. If anyone knows how we should actually do that. Would be an interesting. Taxes is like so aggressive.
Yeah, it's so aggressive. I'm going to jail, so maybe I'll see you next week. Maybe
she was an accident. If the IRS is watching, she's sorry.
I'm sorry. Okay, we love you guys. Keep telling your friends. Please like and subscribe. It helps us so much. And we'll see you next week or in Idaho.
Yay!
Goodbye.
Bye.